Alright, you're going to keep your test. You're going to keep your test until tomorrow, unless you have your parent filled out or something like that. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to have a little introductory session about ancient Rome. Now, how many of you remember the video that you watched when Miss Stanley was here? Okay. What do you do when you want to talk? You want to raise your hand. Yes, Haley. Who? Miss Stanley. She's a sub. Okay, when Miss Stanley was here, you all watched a video over ancient Rome, kind of a little introductory thing. Talk about some of the stuff, kind of just scrape the surface. I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth today about ancient Rome, and then tomorrow we'll actually get to watch another video on United Streaming that has a lot more information. Jacqueline, can you please stop doing that? Thank you. Okay. I am not going, before any of you get this paper and you totally get bent out of shape, I am not going to go over all of this today. There's going to be stuff on here that we do not talk about. So don't raise your hand and get all upset and say, oh, hey, Mr. Wilson, you didn't go over number 3, you skipped it. You're just going to listen and try to look on here and try to get as many answers as you can. And then I'm also going to give you a little chance for about 10 minutes to talk to one of your neighbors to try to get some information on there from that way as well. Okay, but you have to listen. Okay, what?
What if we don't have it?
I'll send you somewhere. Okay, so let's just. Carson is going to pass out the papers. I'm going to get this mouse ready for the computer. You just need to get a pencil out and listen. Huh? Okay, like the video, kind of talked about some of the history, some of the problems that they had, some things like that. We're going to talk briefly about that, but we're also going to talk about other things as well that you guys didn't cover. Okay, all right, this is ancient Rome that we're going to talk about, and then after we're going to talk about ancient Rome, we'll talk about what Rome's like today. And I'll show you some actual pictures of what Rome looks like today at the end of this PowerPoint. Okay, now this question is the very first one on the top. Okay, now we'll take that. Geographic setting. We always talk about geographic setting because, one, this is geography. Okay, you need to know why certain places lived in the areas they did and why they settled there. Okay, and this is going to give you all the reasons why right here. Settle on settle question. Okay, geographic setting. One thing. People of Rome settled there because it was easy to defend. And defend means any intruder that was coming to them, it was easy for them to fight those type of people off. Okay? Can someone raise their hand and tell me, why do you think by just looking at this map? Why do you think by just looking at this map, it'd be easy to defend? Why is that, Luke?
Because if they were down there in the corner, like where it looks like Maine upside down, all they had to do was look out and they could see it. See them coming.
Alright, if you see Rome, Rome's right here in the smack dab right here. It's a peninsula, right? Okay, so really they only have one area that they have to worry about. People come from land, and this is this area. Okay, so they can see all this water, and they have people here, and they also have people here that's defending their area. So really they have all their bases covered because there's really nowhere else that anybody can come from. Okay, so it's really easy for them to be able to defend that. Okay, that's one reason. Another reason, they had good soil. Okay, good soil means what? If we have good soil, we can do what? Raise your hand. What can we do if we have good soil, David?
Grow plants.
We can grow plants, and if we grow plants, we can do what? Have food to eat. Okay? Life's going to be a whole lot easier if we can grow vegetables on a regular basis. You know, that's something that they couldn't do a whole lot in Greece. Why couldn't they do that in Greece? Raise your hand. Why in Greece?
Because the soil was like, bad there.
Soil's bad and they lived in what?
A mountains.
They live in a mountainous area. Okay, hard to grow things in a mountainous area sometimes, right? Okay, lastly, or one other thing is that it's by a river. Okay, it was by a river. A river, why would living by a river be so important? I mean, this is the easiest one. Luke?
Because you need water to survive.
Yeah, you need water to survive. You know, the old ongoing joke that I've heard a lot, especially watching movies, and some of you guys will hear it too, is that the most cruelest way to die is to die from not being able to have anything to drink and being stranded on a desert island, surrounded by water.
No food.
I know, but listen. You just got to imagine this. If you were on an island, just on a little island in the middle of the ocean, and you're completely surrounded by water, and you could not, and you die, and you had to die because you didn't have nothing to drink, and you're surrounded by ocean. That's not going to be a very fun way to go. Okay, you got all this water around you, and you can't drink it. Okay, you got to have a river so that river supplies that fresh water for you. Okay, you drink salt water, yeah, you can drink little tiny bits of it just where you think you can. It's not going to hurt you. But if you consume a great deal amount of it, then it's going to make it where your stomach hurts, and you're going to get sick, and then you're going to end up dying because you're going to end up losing all your fluids in your body. Yeah, kidneys will shut down because of all that salt and stuff. You just can't. Your body, you can't do that. All right. Okay, lastly, near the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, we talked about the Mediterranean Sea, all this area here. Okay, you got all these travel routes that they can come and get different goods and different things. They go to all these different places just from the water. Okay, they can also fish in the Mediterranean Sea, and they can do a lot of other things. Okay. All right, people of Rome. I want to talk about some of the people of Rome, the beginning, what they looked like, and some of the things that they did. Okay, Etruscans. They were living in Rome. Romans came in and invaded them and took over their land. Okay, you all listened about Etruscans or Etruscans in that video. I know that they were in there because that's part of the questions in that packet. Okay. They kept a Greek alphabet. I guarantee you almost every single one of you have seen, like, I don't know, like you've seen these symbols, like, like these weird, like, like these O's and all these different things, like at colleges, like sororities and fraternities, Alpha, Beta, Sigma Pi, Zeta, Delta, things like that. And the thing is, you'll get to use that, especially when you get in 8th grade, you're going to start learning about like Greek morphemes a lot and stuff. Okay, because some of them are on your test, so you will get to learn about those. Okay, toga came from the Etruscans. You can see this guy right here. He's got his nice little toga on here. His head's too small for his body, but other than that, he's got a toga on. Okay, but that's what a toga is. It's that little cloak thing that they wore. Can anybody tell me why you think they wore a toga? Why do you think one of the main reasons why they wore a toga was? We kind of talked about this with Greece people too on the clothes that they wore. Why would they wear a toga? Remember, they're in Southern Europe in the Mediterranean climate, so why would they wear a toga? Why would they wear a toga? Dolpho, why would they wear a toga?
So they could look good.
That'd be one good reason, but what's another main reason, Jackson?
It's a lot of airflow.
Yeah, that's a lot of airflow. It doesn't make them hot. It's not restricting. Okay, air can go in, air can go out. Okay, it's not going to be as hot for them. Okay, Julius Caesar, famous leaders of Rome. Julius Caesar is probably one of the most popular, well-known leaders in all world history. Okay, because he was one of the most modern. He was one of the first, technical dictators in the world. Now the thing is, people love Julius Caesar, but also you got to understand this: people loved Adolf Hitler. Okay, the people in Germany loved Adolf Hitler. They worshipped the ground he walked on. The same thing with Caesar. But Caesar wasn't as mean and brutal as Adolf Hitler, but he was still a dictator. Okay, so still the same. But he governed Rome. He also conquered some places in France. Caesar also appointed himself to be dictator. The Senate hated being ruled by a dictator. Where have you heard the word Senate at before? Here, right? Okay, we talked about Greece having senators as well. Okay, but the thing is, Caesar was eventually stabbed by his own Senate. Now, the old story, the old wives' tale goes like, you know, how many of you ever heard of somebody and your friend saying, "Oh, you stabbed me in the back. You're a backstabber. You went behind my back and did that, and I didn't tell you to." Okay, this is where this term comes from. Okay, Caesar was stabbed in the back by one of his own people. Literally, he was literally stabbed in the back and killed. Okay, so this is the reason why they get this from us, because this happened from one of his supposed to be beloved, trusty people that was on his Senate with him. But they stabbed and killed Caesar. Just because of some of the things he was doing, like he was being a dictator, they didn't like a lot of some of the choices he was making and stuff like that.
Isn't there a Shakespeare play about that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure
Caesar.
it's called Caesar.
Yeah. Okay, way of learning in Rome, and this is where we're talking about education and things that they did. Okay, hands-on building. Okay, what's hands-on building mean? What's hands-on building mean, David?
You use your hands to build.
Yeah, they used their hands to build. Okay, they didn't have electricity. They couldn't have went out and hooked up their generator and run some power saws and stuff. Okay, they were, you know, they used their hands. Okay, discovered concrete. This is pretty big. Okay, a lot of people sit here and think, "Oh, well, concrete, that's, man, it's got a lot of chemicals and stuff in it. That's a real big thing. That's something real important for them to do." Okay, but if you really think about it, how many of you have ever been with your mom, your dad, they've been out in the backyard, or they've gone to Lowe's and they bought a bag of Quikrete, and you've seen them open it up and use it? Okay, Jacqueline, what was in the bag whenever they opened it up? Looked like a bunch of little tiny rocks and powder and dust. Didn't really look like a whole lot of anything, did it? Okay, because that's all that concrete is. Concrete is the dust and the lime dust and the rock dust and the chopped up rocks. It even has little pieces of gravel and pebbles in it. Okay, Quikrete does. Now the concrete that we're going to put on floors and stuff in the house and stuff, it's going to be a cleaner concrete because they put it in the cement mixers and things like that. But the type of concrete they use would be very similar to the Quikrete that we use now. Okay, the only thing they had to do with this is once you get it all mixed up, all they had to do was add water. Once that water got in it, it kind of got all that dust and stuff, and whenever it dried, it hardened and it was hard as a rock. Okay? That's why it is concrete. Okay, they built roads. They also built the Colosseum. We're going to talk about the Colosseum here in a minute. I'm not going to get into great detail about that right now. Okay, they built aqueducts. We talked about aqueducts in Greece. Okay? They weren't the very first people to build them, but theirs were far more advanced than any of the other ones. Okay? And we'll talk about that here in a second. We'll talk about the rich people. Okay, Roman life. Okay? There was very few rich people in Rome. Can anybody sit there and think, just think real hard, why do you think there was very few rich people in Rome? Now just remember, I just told you that Julius Caesar was a dictator. So tell me, why do you think there was not very many people rich in Rome, Jackson?
It was like places in North Korea, how like everyone gets the same thing and stuff.
Yeah, it's just like in North Korea. It's kind of like communism and all the different things. Julius Caesar's not going to want anybody that's going to be very comparable to himself because he's going to be worried that they're going to take away power from him. Okay, or anything. They don't want their people to be superpower. They want them all to be pretty equal. Okay, because if everybody's equal, then they don't have a reason to fight amongst one another. But later on, they really found out that's really totally wrong. Okay, many Romans did not have jobs, meaning that there really wasn't a whole lot of well, hey honey, I'm leaving. I gotta go to work. I gotta go chisel that rock today.